lovely people, Nina here. So this week for my video I decided to do the mid-year book tag. I didn't do this last year. I don't know why. If I just maybe didn't have like a solid idea of what books that I had been loving at the time or not loving, I don't know. But I just didn't do it last year. So I decided to do it this year after seeing so many people on TikTok and YouTube, and I watched so many different videos of people doing this tag, and then there's so many like variations of questions too, and I just thought it was really interesting. So I decided this week for my video that I would do the mid-year book tag and talk about what I have loved so far, my favorite book so far, what have ya. And I feel like this is going to drastically change by the end of the year, so we'll see. So far this year I've read 40 books, and it's like almost split 50-50 between fiction and nonfiction, which I think is really interesting. And it's very varied. So there's a lot of YA, there's poetry, there's graphic novel, there's memoir, there's biography, there's like a whole bunch of different variations of book that I've read. I track it all on Storygraph. If you want to follow me, I'll link it down below and you can check that out. But for this video, I am going to get into the questions, I guess. The first one is the best book you've read so far, and that is, I have all my books in front of me, but that is Sunrise on the Reaping, and I honestly didn't know what to pick for this, and I figured Sunrise on the Reaping was the answer to a few other questions on the list, and it's the one that I've like been thinking about the most, so I am going with this. Because I've had so many 5-star reads though that it was very, very hard to pick. But I just loved this so much. I thought it melded, is that the word I want to look for? Like fit in really well with the rest of the Hunger Games series. I think it's really important to learn about Haymitch and why he is the way he is. And this follows, if you don't know, the 50th Hunger Games, which is Haymitch's Hunger Games, and they have double the amount of tributes to, like, kind of celebrate that, I guess. I don't know if the word you want to celebrate, but, like, commemorate that it's the 50th Hunger Games, and he basically wants to show it to the, like, ultra elite, ultra wealthy that are watching this, and he wants to destroy the Hunger Games. And the plot is him figuring out with other tributes how they can take down the Hunger Games. And, yeah, do that. It is very good. It is so sad. Starting with Happy Birthday Haymitch in the very beginning, because the Hunger Games were on his birthday. So, or the Reaping, not the Hunger Games, the Reaping is on his birthday. Yeah, amazingly written and so sad. And I just really loved it. So, there's that one. The best sequel you've read so far. And that is, where did I put all these books? The best sequel I've read, it's just, I guess, a whole series. So it's not technically a sequel. But it's the Murderbot series. And I'm on the 4th one currently. This is the first one. This is All Systems Red, which is the first one. It follows a rogue sec unit that hacks its government module and basically has its own control, and it just wants to watch serials, and it helps different scientists, and it's really good and really funny, and if you like sci-fi, you should read this. So there's that one. I love this series. I love the books way more than the show. Just so you know, they made it into a show. It's on Apple, I believe. I don't like the show that much, but I do really love the books. So, there's that one. The next question is a new release that you haven't read but want to read. And that's this one, which is The Emperor of Gladness by Ocean Wong. And it follows one late summer in the evening in the post-industrial town of East Gladness, Connecticut, 19-year-old Hay stands on the edge of the bridge in pelting rain, ready to jump, when he hears someone shout across the river. The voice belongs to Grazina, an elderly widow succumbing to dementia who convinces him to take another path. Bereft and out of options, he quickly becomes her caretaker. And it follows basically their journey. I feel like this is going to be very sad, knowing Ocean's writing. I love On Earth We're Bravely Gorgeous and Time is a Mother, and I've read so much of his poetry and writing, and it's all made me cry. So I know this will be no different, but it's so beautifully written. He has a great way with words. So there's that one. Very, very excited. This is also a signed copy, which is fun. The biggest disappointment of the year. Now this one, I thought I read in 2024, but I looked back and it says 2025. So it's just been a very long year. The Fourth Wing series by Rebecca Yarros, I did not like. I did not like it at all. I have a full review of the first and second one on my channel. The issue with the second one, which is Iron Flame, is that the first one kind of had that too, is that there were main sections of the book that could have just been taken out. Like it needed, I don't know, almost a better editor maybe? Or the writing was just not that good, where it just like dragged on and there were pieces that were not important to the plot. It made it so long and so unnecessarily long that I was like, ugh. There's also issues with the writing not being strong enough to connect the reader with the characters. Again, this is just my opinion. But I don't think the writing was strong enough to connect the reader with the characters. So when they kill off the characters, because it follows a girl named Violet whose mom basically forces her into the Riders Squadron. And she meets a boy named Zayden and her friend Dane? Those are like the three main characters, I would say. And then there's also a whole bunch of other characters in the Riders Squadron. Basically, the connection to the characters and having a strong connection for the readers to like care about the characters, I just felt was not there. And the amount of times that Violet talks about wrapping her knee and talks about like always getting hurt, it's just like a lot. I don't know. I just didn't like it, and I thought part of the plot fell flat. Also that they go from, Zayden and Violet go from enemies to lovers in the first book, and then in the second book, guess what? Enemies to lovers. No. And then like, so I just didn't like this. Yeah. And then on top of it not being good, I recently found out that Rebecca Yarros is like not a super great person, and so why would I support an author that's like not great? But before I even knew anything about her, because that had like just came out, I like just learned this. Before I knew anything about her, did not like the book. So did not like the first or second one. She apparently took a neutral stance on Palestine and the literal genocide. So, not cool. Didn't like the book. The author's not a great person. So, yeah. The next one is new favorite author. And for this, I am going to go with, okay, so newest favorite author this year. I recently read Al Pacino's Sonny Boy. I loved this book so much. I loved it. See what I mean by my books flipping between like a lot of nonfiction, fiction, what have ya, and just like a whole bunch of random different genres. Example, Al Pacino's Sonny Boy. This is the story of Al Pacino's life and how he grew up in the South Bronx, very poor, and worked his way to become an actor in first theater and then film and TV. And basically just the entire story, his life is really interesting, and he had a very hard life. And he worked a bunch of different jobs to basically get himself off the streets and support his mom. And yeah, it's really, 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 really good, and it made me really like Al Pacino and how like honest he is. And yeah, he's not like a famous person who like basically got handed everything on a silver platter. He had to like really work to get to where he is. And I just really loved this. The audiobook is so funny because he goes on like different tangents, and like I'm assuming it's because like the book had an editor maybe that like shortened some of his sentences down, but when you're listening to the audiobook it doesn't have that, and so he's just kind of like at some points will like go on little rambles, and it's just really amusing to hear. So the audiobook he does, it's really amazing. His book he wrote, and it's very good. I really loved it. There's the only part that I was like, there are like a few parts that I obviously didn't like. He talks about at one point getting an Oscar and it feeling like getting rewarded for like his work or whatever. And like, yes, I get that actors work really hard, but also there's no award show for like teachers, and so I just have a really hard time with award shows in general. But he does talk about it and he's really honest, so there's that. And then the next question is, oh, okay, there's a new character and the new fictional crush, and I'm kind of going to blend those into one, mixed with a book that made you cry. All of the above go to, yes, Sunrise on the Reaping. I told you I was going to come back up because it was my favorite. Hey Mitch, like, we love Hey Mitch. He's just amazing, and he wants to show it to the ultra rich elite, and amazing. The fact that he tries to take down the Hunger Games, like, he's just great, and I love this. Again, made me cry. Beginning to end was crying. Actual tears. There are tears on these pages. So, Suzanne Collins, amazing work. I love this. And then next we have the book that made me happy, The Book of Delights by Ross Gay. I also don't have this with me right now because I borrowed it from my younger sister. So The Book of Delights, Ross Gay is the author, and he writes about a delight. He tries to write a delight every day. It kind of gets varied in there and he skips a few, but he writes a delight every day, a little something that when everything is bad, he writes about something happy. It's really good, especially in 2025 when everything politically and just the world is really awful right now and crumbly. A bit of happy, you should read The Book of Delights. He also has The Book of More Delights, which is just like a continuation essentially. Also very, very good. I loved it. It made me very happy. I needed it. Yeah. The Book of Delights by Ross Gay, which I'll just put a picture of because I don't have the book. So the last one is the book I need to read by the end of the year, and it is Palestine. This is the graphic novel by Joe Sacco. And I'm kind of, see? I think reading about Palestine right now, especially given the genocide and how they're literally starving to death, is so important right now, and it's so awful. So the graphic novel in Palestine is my to read this year. I've read, so these are all kind of like my mid-year wrap-up books that I've been, there's like a lot. Loving, not loving, what have ya, this year. All are like quite long. I guess I like to read a longer book, a good story. So yeah, let me know down below what you have been loving, not loving. Is there a book I should read that you think? And it'll be interesting to see how these change by the end of the year. So that is all for this week's video. I love you all. As always, free Palestine. And I will see you next Friday with a brand new video. Bye!